I am God. You call my name in your darkest nights. You whisper to me when no one else can hear. You wonder if I am silent, if I have turned my face away. But I tell you this, I hear every word. Yet you live surrounded by noise, pride, fear, sin, distraction. These are the chains that drown my voice. It is not that I am far. It is that you have filled your ears with too many lesser sounds. Do you know what happens when you are still? When you clear the clutter, silence the storm, and open your heart. You find that I am already there, closer than the beat of your heart. You do not need perfect words. You do not need holy masks. Speak to me as you are, and I will answer as I am. In this message, I will show you the hidden language of the soul, the way to hear me in Scripture, in creation, in the whispers of your own spirit. You will see that my silence is never absence, my delay is often mercy, and my voice is always nearer than you imagine. Now I ask you, have you ever felt peace that had no reason? Have you ever sensed light in the middle of despair? That was me. Tell me in the comments how you have heard me before. And if these words awaken your spirit, subscribe, stay, and listen. For what you are about to hear will change the way you speak with your God forever. The voice you already hear, I am God. And though you have doubted it, you have already heard my voice. It was there when you watched the sunrise blaze across the horizon, when the sea roared with power, when a bird sang outside your window. It was there in your conscience, whispering that some choices are life and others are death. It was there in the words of Scripture that pierced your soul with light so sharp you could not explain it. Yet you called it coincidence. You said it was only a thought. You brushed it aside as if it were nothing. But it was me. I have never stopped speaking, never stopped surrounding you with signs of my presence. Think back to the moment you were on the edge of despair, when you could not see a way forward, and suddenly a quiet peace entered your heart. That was not chance. That was my hand resting on your spirit. Think of the stranger who spoke the very words you needed, the song that played when you needed comfort, the verse that found you at the exact right time. These are not accidents. They are the ways I have been calling you home. The truth is this. My voice does not thunder to destroy you. It whispers to heal you. But only those who slow down, only those who listen, can recognize that the gentle wind carries my words. Tell me, have you ever ignored that inner nudge, only to later realize it was protecting you from harm? Share it, because your story of hearing me may unlock another soul's faith. And here lies the lesson. You already hear me every day, but until you honor it as my voice, you will treat holy encounters like dust on the road. Do not wait for the sky to split open. Pay attention to the voice that is already in your midst. This is where we begin, learning to recognize that I am already speaking. And once you see this truth, the next step becomes clear. Understanding the barriers that keep you from hearing me fully, the barriers between us. If I am so near, why do you feel so far? The distance is not mine, it is yours. Pride builds a wall so high that my whispers cannot climb. Sin clouds the soul like smoke that blinds your eyes. The noise of the world drowns out my song with endless distractions, false lights, and empty promises. You fill your mind with voices that shout but never satisfy, and in the crowd you lose the only voice that can save you. Imagine a man holding a glass of pure water, but he keeps pouring dirt into it, wondering why it no longer refreshes. That is how you treat your spirit, polluting it with endless noise, comparison, greed, and fear. You cry out, "Where are you, God?" while drowning my voice under the flood of worldly chaos. But hear this, I am not far. I am closer than your own breath. The barrier is not distance, but attention. Think of the way static blocks a radio signal. My words are present, but the static of distraction distorts them. If you want to hear clearly, you must tune your heart to the right frequency. A lesson hides here. Examine your life and ask, what has become louder than God's whisper? Is it the endless scroll of social media, the obsession with success, the weight of guilt you refuse to release? Until you confront these barriers, you will mistake my silence for absence when it is only your ears that have been closed. Let this stir you. Write in the comments what you think keeps people most from hearing me: pride, fear, sin, or distraction. Your reflection may shine light for someone else. And as you reflect, know this: the first act of tearing down the barrier is not grand. It is small, simple, and forgotten by the world. It is the act of silence. And that is where we go next. The first step, silence. Silence is not emptiness. It is the door to eternity. You fill your days with endless noise, but when you finally stop, when you let stillness cover you, you begin to notice that I was always near. In the stillness, my presence feels closer than your own heartbeat, closer than the air in your lungs. Think of a garden overrun with weeds. Before the flowers can grow, the weeds must be cleared. Silence is the clearing of the weeds in your soul. Each distraction you put aside, each anxious thought you release, each moment you choose stillness over noise, you are pulling up weeds to make space for me. Have you ever sat by the ocean and felt time dissolve? Have you ever walked in the forest and sensed a peace that no words could capture? That peace was not the absence of sound. It was the presence of me filling the silence. Even science tells you that silence lowers blood pressure, heals the nervous system, restores balance. But beyond health, silence awakens the soul to eternity. The small lesson is this: if you want to hear my voice, you must stop talking long enough to listen. If you only bring lists of demands, you are not in a relationship. You are making speeches to the wind. But when you sit still, when you let silence soften your heart, you will begin to notice the gentle rhythm of my presence. Do not be afraid of silence. The world tells you it is empty, but I tell you it is full, full of my nearness, full of my voice waiting to be heard. Begin with 5 minutes. Turn off the noise, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and simply say, "Here I am." You will find that I am already there. And when you enter silence, the next secret unfolds, learning to speak not with rehearsed phrases, but with the raw honesty of the heart. For the true language between us is not eloquence. It is truth. The language of the heart. I am God. I do not need poetry from your lips or speeches rehearsed for the crowd. What I seek is the naked truth of your soul. Speak to me not as you think you should, but as you truly are. Speak as the weary child who runs to a father, as the broken heart who can no longer hide the wound. The true language of prayer is not eloquence, it is honesty. Consider David, who wept and shouted, who confessed his failures openly, who danced with joy in the streets, unashamed. His psalms are not polished essays, they are cries of raw humanity. That is why they pierced heaven and remain eternal. I hear the trembling whisper of the sinner who dares to say, "Help me." I hear the groan of the broken soul who cannot form words. I hear the laughter of joy, the gasp of awe, the sigh of relief. Every sound that rises from an honest heart is a prayer. Do not mask yourself with false holiness. Do not pretend to be perfect before me, for I see beneath the mask. To come with pretension is to bring shadows to the light. Bring me your anger, your questions, your gratitude, your tears. Bring it all. When you hide nothing, you make space for everything. Think of the friend with whom you can speak without fear, who knows your weaknesses yet still embraces you. That is how I long to hear you. The child who babbles still delights the parent, not because the words are perfect, but because the love is real. So too with me, when you pray with truth, you speak my own language. Here is the lesson. Stop fearing the imperfections of your words. Stop believing that you must say the right thing. The right thing is the real thing. Speak with your heart, and you will feel the chains fall away. For when the heart speaks, heaven listens. And when you pour out your truth, you open the door for me to pour back my truth into you. And that leads to the next mystery. How I answer. How I speak back to my children who dare to listen. How I speak back. I am God, and my voice is not locked away in mystery. I speak, and I have always spoken, through many streams that flow into one river of truth. First, through Scripture, living words sharper than any blade, alive with power, ready to pierce your soul. When you open the pages of my word, it is not ancient ink. It is my breath, fresh and burning, speaking directly into your moment. How many times have you opened the Bible and felt the exact line leap out as if it was written only for you? That is no accident. That is my voice. I also speak through people and circumstances. Think of the conversation that seemed ordinary, but a single phrase stayed in your mind for weeks. Think of the job you did not get, only to find the rejection led you toward a greater door. Think of the friend who showed up exactly when you needed comfort. Do not dismiss these as chance. They are threads of my providence woven into your story. And then there is the peace that surpasses logic. The world calls it intuition, but I tell you it is my spirit moving within you. When you face choices and one path fills you with chaos while the other fills you with unexplainable calm, know that the calm is me. My peace is not the absence of storms, but the anchor that holds in the storm. Learn to read. My replies not with impatient eyes, but with patient faith. Sometimes I answer with silence, because silence is my way of stretching your trust. Sometimes I answer with delay, because what you ask for too soon could destroy you if given now. Sometimes I answer with a door that closes, because I am guiding you to one that opens to life. The lesson is simple yet eternal. I speak in ways both grand and small, but always in ways that lead you closer to me. Pay attention. Do not only look for the thunder, listen for the whisper. Do not only expect miracles in the sky, see the miracles in your daily steps. And as you train your soul to recognize my replies, you will find that the conversation with your Creator is not rare, it is constant. Tell me, have you ever experienced a moment where life's events aligned so perfectly you knew it could not be chance? Share it, for your story may reveal to another how I speak. And hold this truth. Once you know how I reply, prayer stops being a ritual and becomes a relationship, alive and unbreakable. And soon you will see why prayer is not about bending my will, but about aligning yours with mine, the misunderstandings. I am God. And I tell you this, prayer is not a trick, not a formula, not a spell to bend my will. Too many of you treat me like a vending machine. Insert words, expect blessings. You imagine that if you say the right phrase or recite the right ritual, you will force my hand. But I am not a servant to your desires. I am the Creator of heaven and earth, the one who knows the end from the beginning. Do not come to command me. Come to walk with me. Consider this. When a child demands candy for every meal, a wise parent says no, not because they are cruel, but because they love too deeply to give what would destroy. So too with me. When I withhold, when I delay, when I answer in ways you do not expect, it is because my love sees further than your eyes. My no is often my mercy. My silence is often my shield. Do not think prayer is about controlling outcomes. It is about alignment. It is the tuning of your heart to mine, the bending of your will to my wisdom. When you pray, you step into a river that has already been flowing since the dawn of time. You do not create the current, you join it. The true power of prayer is not changing me, but allowing me to change you. Think of Jesus in Gethsemane, sweating blood under the weight of sorrow. He prayed, "Not my will, but yours be done." That is the essence of prayer. Surrender, not manipulation. Your greatest prayers are not the ones that move mountains outside of you, but the ones that move the mountains inside of you. Here is your lesson. Prayer misunderstood becomes superstition. Prayer understood becomes transformation. When you let go of trying to control me, you finally begin to be controlled by my spirit. And when this shift happens, you will see the beauty of the next truth, that my presence is never absent, that I am always near. The promise of presence. I am God, and I promise you this. I never ignore the cries of my children. Every tear that falls is counted. Every whisper in the night is heard. Even when you think heaven is silent, I am listening closer than you imagine. I am not a distant monarch locked behind golden gates. I am the Father who bends low to hear his child. Sometimes you ask, and the answer comes swiftly, like rain on parched earth. Sometimes you ask, and I delay, because what you seek too early would crush you instead of bless you. Sometimes you ask, and I seem silent. But my silence is not absence. It is the quiet work of shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you for what is greater. Do not mistake waiting for abandonment. Waiting is my classroom, where faith is tested, patience is forged, and trust is made unshakable. Look back at your life and see, how many times did you think I had abandoned you, only to realize later that I had been guiding you through unseen hands, protecting you from what you could not see? The job you did not get, the relationship that broke, the door that closed, they were all chapters in a larger story that you could not yet read. Now you see that the thread of my presence was never cut, And when you feel crushed under the weight of loneliness, remember this: I am closer than your breath. You cannot step beyond my presence. Even in the valley of the shadow of death, I am there. Even in the fire, my spirit surrounds you. Even when you fall into sin and shame, my mercy runs faster than your failure. The lesson is clear. My presence is not conditional on your perfection. It is rooted in my promise. I said I will never leave you nor forsake you, and my word is unbreakable. Your faith may falter, your emotions may waver, but my presence remains steady as the eternal rock. Tell me, have you ever lived through a storm, only to look back and realize that something greater carried you through? Share it, for your testimony may be the lifeline another soul needs. And hold this truth deep. I am here. I am always here. And once you believe this promise, your heart will be ready for the final reflection, the truth that I have always heard you and I have always spoken. The question is not whether I listen, but whether you will listen back. I am God, and before you leave this moment, let me carve truth into your soul. You have wondered if I listen, if I care, if I am near, and now you know I hear every word. From the quiet sighs you never spoke aloud to the desperate prayers you screamed in the night, nothing has been lost in the wind. I am the keeper of every tear, the witness of every wound, the giver of every breath. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. Think of your life as a tapestry. From the underside it looks like knots, tangles, chaos without pattern. But from my view it is a masterpiece woven with purpose. The pain you cursed, the delay you hated, the silence that broke you, these were not wasted. They became threads of gold, pulling you toward a greater design. Even now, as you hear my words, I am weaving hope into your darkness. You prayed for quick answers, but I gave you endurance. You prayed for escape, but I gave you strength. You prayed for blessing, but I gave you wisdom greater than gold. The treasures I give are not always what you expect, but they are always what you need. And if you have eyes to see, you will realize that I was nearest when you thought I was farthest. I call you not to religion that suffocates, but to relationship that breathes life. Speak to me in the language of your heart. Walk with me in silence and stillness. Search my words in Scripture as though they are living fire, and they will set your soul ablaze. Look for me in the small mercies of your day, the unexpected kindness of a friend, the unshakable peace that makes no sense in the storm. These are my footprints in your path. But let me warn you of this. If you only treat prayer as a tool to get what you want, you will miss the treasure of who I am. Prayer is not magic. Prayer is not control. Prayer is union. It is the fusion of your fragile heart with my eternal heart, the alignment of your fragile will with my perfect will. The power is not in the words, it is in the surrender. When you let go of control, you discover freedom. When you stop striving to manipulate, you finally receive transformation. And now I ask you, have you ever felt my presence in a way you cannot explain? Was it a dream that stayed with you? A peace that came without cause? A near miss that saved your life? Tell your story in the comments, for your testimony is not only your own, it is a lantern that may light another wanderer's way. Do not be silent, for your voice carries the echo of eternity. If this word has touched you, if it has awakened something deep within, then stay close. Subscribe to this space where my whispers become words, where my presence becomes a story shared. Like this message, if it has given you strength, not for vanity, but because every click pushes this truth further into a world drowning in noise. And if you feel in your spirit that this has brought light into your dark night, then give back a little energy. Support in whatever way you can. Even the smallest act is priceless when it fuels the spreading of my word. I know some of you are carrying burdens so heavy you cannot imagine tomorrow. Some of you feel crushed by failure, by sin, by the silence of unanswered prayers. But hear me. Nothing is wasted when placed in my hands. The broken pieces of your past can become the foundation of your future. The very scars you hide can become the testimony that heals another soul. What the enemy meant for harm, I can turn for good. You are not defined by the weight you carry. You are defined by the one who carries you. Let these words burn into you. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. My silence is not abandonment. My delay is not neglect. My no is not rejection. Every moment, I am shaping you, guiding you, walking beside you. In the shadows, I am your light. In the fire, I am your shield. In the storm, I am your anchor. In death itself, I am your resurrection. So leave this place not as you came. Leave with courage. Leave with hope. Leave with the certainty that your prayers are heard, your voice matters, and your God is closer than your breath. And as you go, carry this question in your heart. What if the very silence you fear is the space where I am speaking loudest? If this question moves you, answer it below, and let the world see how faith rises when souls share their stories. This is not the end. This is the beginning of deeper conversation, of stronger faith, of unshakable peace. Keep listening, keep speaking, and know that I am here, now and always. And if you feel this message has given your heart food, your soul peace, or your spirit healing, I invite you to share your energy with me so I can continue creating these moments of light. Every gesture, every support, every word of encouragement is a seed of eternity. And I thank you with all my heart, because I am God. I have always heard you, and I will never stop listening. The question is, will you keep listening back?